Why is it that we know what to do for our well-being, yet we don't do it? You ask anyone and they'll say, yeah, I know. I know I should eat healthy. I know I should get enough sleep. I know I should work out. I'll start tomorrow. How many times have you said that? So it all comes down to one word, and that is habit. Habits. So we either haven't taken the time to build a new habit, we haven't developed the right habits, and we also have our own programming from our own belief systems, our childhood, so we already have our habits laid down. It is simply not in our habit to act as needed, and we haven't taken the time to build a new habit. My name is Sharon Dudley, and I share information to help you along your well-being journey. So someone told me that for them it was comfort. The word was comfort, and because it's more comfortable to, binge watch Netflix shows than to get outside and do some exercise or take a walk. It's more comfortable to eat ice cream for them than it is to eat, say, an orange or something healthy or whole foods of some sort. And yes, that is very true. So it got me thinking, how does comfort tie into habits? Well, we tend to get comfortable in our habits. So if I'm comfortable in my habit of binge watching Netflix, for example, being on my phone too much and not moving my body, well, there's going to come a time in my life, and friends, it will happen if you live long enough, that a doctor is going to be standing there in front of you telling you, you need to start moving your body. You need to watch what you eat, or heaven forbid, now you're taking something because you have type 2 diabetes because it was more comfortable to eat ice cream than the apple or orange or whatever. The fact is, you can enjoy your comfort now by engaging in unhealthy habits and then address it later in life, or you can begin to address any unhealthy habits or habits that do not serve you. Let's call them that. Habits that do not serve you now, and become comfortable later in life. We are creatures of habits. We get into our routines and it's really hard to change. Not only do our physical habits affect our well-being, but our thought habits affect our well-being. And many times, often, usually, they go hand in hand. Many books have been written about habits. One you probably heard of is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I'm reading a book right now called The Confidence Gap. I'll put the author down below. But even though it's talking about confidence, the author is talking about mindset and thought habits. So it just spills over into everything that we say and do. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Dr. Joe Dispenza says, if you want a new outcome, you will have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent your new self. If you want a new outcome, you will have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent your new self. So powerful. Dr. Wayne Dyer wrote, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Another great book. Habits are powerful in our day-to-day lives. You might say they are the structure of our lives, but they are powerfully hard to change. So to change habits that do not serve you, start small. To build habits that do serve you, start small. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And that's from the Tao Te Ching. It is also referenced in Dr. Wayne Dyer's book. Change your thoughts, change your life. So we start with baby steps. Baby steps. A baby doesn't go from being an infant to running and playing, right? He does little things along the way. Lifts his head, starts to push up, begins to crawl, begins to pull up, begins to stand. Baby steps. So here's why baby steps are so important. Have you ever known anyone, or maybe it was you, I think we've all been down this road before, where we went into something whole hog. New Year's goal. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym 1 hour a day, 6 days a week, and only have one rest day. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start. I'm going to do this thing. Here I go. Or maybe you witness someone do this. And within a week or two, maybe even 3, they miss a day here, they miss a day there. The child gets sick. You have to work late. Things happen. And now I miss. So now I'm not even going to go. The muscle soreness comes in, the fatigue, the time it takes isn't comfortable. So we never build that habit and we just stop. How many times have you heard that gyms are full in January, yet they're empty in February? It's a fact. Would baby steps have made a difference? I heard a story, and I'm sorry, I don't know who to reference this to, but the person was talking about going to a gym, and day 1, they just went, they drove there. I don't even know if they got out of their car. And then the next time they went, they walked up to the door, turned around, and went back home. And then just slowly built up that habit of going to the gym so that they could keep it. Once you build a habit, it's so much easier. It's a habit. So change happens a baby step at a time. So I have a video you can check out right here. It is about building sleep habits. But there I talk about if you just back up your bedtime every week. For example, if you usually go to bed at midnight, you will back it up to 11:45, week 1. Week 2, you'll back it up to 11:30. And week 3, 11:15. And by week 4, you're going to bed at 11. So these baby steps, these gradual steps, help you get into the habit of going to bed a little bit earlier. And you do it another month, and you're going to bed at 10 o'clock. Maybe 10 o'clock is a reasonable time. It is a reasonable time for a lot of us who have to get up at, to get kids up for school and all, to get our 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So that is just an example of how you can just take baby steps to change a bedtime. It also works when you want to move your body. For example, maybe you're not doing anything and your doctor's told you, hey, you need to walk more, you need to move your body more, or maybe you know that you just need to do that. But it's really comfortable to come in after work and just chillax, flip on the TV or flip on YouTube and just do whatever you want. Well, so start in baby steps, 3 days a week. Go out and walk 5 minutes each time. 5 minutes. The following week, 10 minutes, 3 days a week. The following week, we're up to 15. And you keep building up, adding 5 minutes each time till you get to 30 minutes. You're walking 30 minutes 3 times a week, and maybe that's it. And that is what research says, that the amount of time that adults need to move their body. Now you might want to add a little bit more into that, or say, okay, now I'm going to do it 4 days a week. You get to pick. You get to pick your increments. You could say, I'm going to go for 1 minute, 3 days a week, and that's it. I'm going to just stand up for a minute and sit back down on the couch. And that's where I'm starting. That's the beauty of this. You get to design your own plan. But the important thing is to have a plan and to move forward. Now, there's going to be times that it's going to be, this is too fast for me. That, how many of you have done Couch to 5K? And there's some point there in Couch to 5K where I know the program I was using, they did a drastic jump. It was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. Run, walk, run, walk. Okay, run a little bit longer, walk a little bit more. It's what they're doing. They're baby stepping. But I know the program I had, at one point, they all of a sudden went from, this is not too bad, this is comfortable, doable, to they jumped. And it was uncomfortable. Well, guess what? You can stay on week 4, week 5, or whatever week it is, and do your own modification. That was too big. So I'm not going to go to, 10 minutes of running solid. I'm going to do 5 minutes walk, 5 minutes or whatever you decide to do. It's the important thing here to remember is just keep moving forward. Have a goal in mind and keep moving forward. Don't stay stuck at week 4 unless that's where you're okay with that and that's where you want to be. But have a plan to just increase. Maybe it's a minute. I'll go an extra minute a week, and in 6 months I'll be where I want to be. But then you are changing your neural pathways. You are laying down new neural pathways, and you are building that habit that's going to stick with you because it's a habit. Look at your New Year's intentions, your New Year's goals or resolutions. I like to call them intentions. What did you write down? Did you write any down? If you didn't, it's always a good idea to have goals, but realistic goals. So if you have intentions or if you need to make them, write an intention out. Pick one. Just pick one. Make a plan and start with baby steps. It might be to move more. For me, when I started my yoga journey to become a yoga teacher a couple of years ago, my strength training just fell off the wagon. Even though I built a habit of it, it just got kind of pushed to the corner because I was taking the classes, I was doing practice yoga classes, I was practicing yoga so I could be able to instruct it. That's important. So my strength training fell off. Now, not that yoga doesn't build strength, because it does, but I also feel the need to do the cardio and the work different muscle groups purposely for my strength training. So I had to reintroduce that habit because that's a habit that I had that had slipped into, a new habit. And what I'm looking at is 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day to do my strength training or cardio, and I'm up to 10 minutes now. Okay, I'm not where I wanted to be. I wanted to be at 20 minutes by now, and 20 minutes was where I was going to cut it off, 20 to 30 minutes. However, if I hadn't started with 5 minutes a day of strength training and strength training or cardio, then I would not even be here sitting here at 10 minutes. So I'm halfway to my goal of 20 minutes. So that's what I mean by keeping that goal in front of you, planning out your baby steps, and implementing it. A year from now, you'll still be here. You get to decide where you'll be a year from now. So make that goal and keep it in front of you, set that intention, and have it visible. As you consider one intention, think about your thought habits. What are you thinking? Are your thought habits talking you out of doing something? Are they sabotaging you? Are they helping you to procrastinate? What's going on in your mind? Here's some questions to ask yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Are you talking yourself out of moving forward? Are you talking yourself out of achieving your goals? Pay attention to that little inner dialogue. We all have it. And a lot of times that inner dialogue does not serve us. Thoughts are powerful, but every habit that you have began with a thought. Make your thoughts work for you. Become aware of your self-talk. Instead of saying things like, I will never blank, I can't blank, I'm too old, I'm too young. We grew up hearing these things. We absorb them from our environment, from our friends, from our family, and we take them on, and we don't have to. So you can change that script that's in your head. So laying down new habits of thought, new thought patterns, new thought habits. I can do the thing. I will do the thing. Even though I am X years old, I still, and say something positive and tell yourself that. Just learn to lay it down, take the action to move forward. Don't let your thinking mind sabotage you, because it seems like that's the goal sometime. So be one step ahead of it. Relay down those pathways. So remember, when you're saying things like, I can't, I won't, I'm too this, I'm too that, when you say those words, when you think those thoughts, you are sealing your own destiny. When you have these negative self-talk patterns, you are sealing your own destiny. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't. So build your self-esteem. Build your feeling of self-worthiness. You can check out this video here. Say this affirmation daily and change your story. And that affirmation is, I am worthy. If you don't say any other affirmation in your life, I am worthy is the one to say. Say, just put your hands over your heart right now and close your eyes and say, I am worthy. And take a breath. This is something that we don't often grow up with. I know I didn't. Tell your children that they are worthy. Teach them to acknowledge that they are worthy, because we are all worthy human beings. We are beings of love and light. I mean, it is amazing, this great life that we are living, all of us. Another author you might want to check out is Louise Hay. She authored several self-help books, and she does a lot of affirmations. She has passed on to the other side now, but she overcame trauma and a devastating illness to become a successful author and start her own publishing company at a later age in life. So she's an author you might want to look up and check out. Okay, well, all of this sounds like a lot of work, you might be thinking. And it is. It is a lot of work. It takes keeping your goal out in front of you, paying attention, knowing that you are going to get derailed. Know that you are going to get derailed, and that's okay. You just keep going. Start simple, start small, start baby steps. It is not comfortable, but it is so worth it. It is worth it to find your peace, your happiness, your health, your well-being. All you have to do is decide that you want to change, and then make a plan, take baby steps, and move forward. Easy breezy, right? Keep your goal in front of you. Look at it often. If you get sidelined or sidetracked or we get sick. So sometimes that will derail us. And anyway, just pick up where you are and keep going. If you need to stay at a level for a little longer, stay at that level for a little longer. The beauty is you get to decide. You are the orchestrator of your life. Isn't that beautiful? When you master one habit, move on to the next. If you're working on thought habits, know that that is going to be ongoing. So you might want to pick, okay, one physical habit I want to work on. And maybe it is, like mine is, doing more strength and cardio training. So you pick that one physical habit, but just know that the thought habits, no matter the great masters, will still have negative thought habits slip in, because we are human beings. The important thing is to recognize. So your thought habits are going to be an ongoing thing, but the more you practice, the easier it'll get, and the more you'll recognize when, these thoughts are not serving me right now. They are not. And I'm going to move on to thoughts that do serve me. There they are. I have grace with myself, and I'm going to let them go on by. And I'm going to remind myself of who I really am and what I can really do. Where will you be in a year from now if you do this? Think about that. I know if I hadn't started my cardio training, I wouldn't be doing it. My 5 minutes at a time. I still would be, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start on Monday. I'll start after this thing happens, when it's easier and it's more convenient. So ask yourself, where will you be in a year if I take one physical habit and work on it, and then add another? Where will I be in a year if I start working on my thought habits and changing them, working on changing them to habits that serve me? Where will I be in a year? Do you have an intention that you want to work on? Drop it in the comments below. Maybe there's some, we can learn some wisdom from each other. So the fact is, you can be right here, same place, same habits this time next year, or you can look back at the achievements that you've made, the steps that you've taken to improve your well-being. The beauty of this is you get to decide. It's all up to you. Take that first step. Go ahead and get started.